All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh,
Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all our veterans out there, everybody. Please take advantage of all your veterans benefits in home buying, in loans. There are all kinds of programs, property tax savings. If you need some guidance as to how to take care of that, we can help you. Hi, Kyle.
I'm going to just do a quick little plug then for Baird Warner. We have a program called Military on the Move, and I am representing a veteran in multiple transactions. I've represented them in multiple transactions, and it's a privilege. There's a big savings on the commissions.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. So happy Veterans Day, everyone.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. We've got lots to talk about today. We're going to start off with stats, recapping October, and then we're going to go into news, followed by what do you do about seasonality, right? Okay.
Coming up on the holidays, people.
I know, crazy, right? Okay, got rid of our names. Now I'm going to get rid of our coffee mug, and then we can go into stats. Here we go. And this is not going to be a lot of new news. We're doing single family homes first on the lakefront communities. In October, 73 homes closed, up versus previous year, down year before that. And you can see these up and downs. It shows you the monthly numbers for 5 years. So you can see seasonality here. In the very light box, you can see where COVID was. Under contract, currently 62 homes under contract. That is the lowest October for the last 5 years. So
Inventory,
exactly right. And same with homes for sale right now. 242 is the lowest October we've had. It's like I'm playing the same violin song over and over again.
Wow.
Some people are giving up. And so instead of it being like a half month of inventory, it's a 3.3 month of inventory. Hit an all-time high median sales price on single family homes of $1,350,000. And every listing out there is getting about 3.9, call it 4 showings per month. All right, let's go to attached. Attached is condo co-op townhouse. 678 closed in October. I mean, it's like the same old song, right? I mean, it's a little bit up, but it's lower even than pre-pandemic.
Yeah, it's way lower than pre-pandemic.
Yeah. For sale, 2322, slowest October, 2.8 months worth of inventory, and 440,000 is our all-time high. All right, here's numbers year to date. Again, through October, 8,716 condos, townhouses, co-ops have closed. That's down almost 2% versus last year. But single family homes is a different story. Look at that. In units, we're up 8.5.
Okay.
All right. Foot traffic down as one would expect. The index is 126. Compare that to March, April this year of 214 and 198. It's lower than the Midwest region, but a tad higher than the rest of the United States. This is through September, so it's a little bit older information. 6.72 on mortgages. I actually did this on Thursday. On Friday, they went up to an average of 6.79, so even up. $2,200 per month is the Chicago median rent price. Your graph here looks like it's going down. That's because it looks like it's going down versus the months before, but it's actually up 8% versus previous year. In terms of 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, you can see down versus previous month, but up versus previous year. The Loop, 3287 is your median rent price. Uptown, 1900. Median rent price, that includes like some high apartment numbers in the loop. I just rented my 130 Garland 1-bedroom for 2,400. So,
And the near north side, the 1-bedrooms. Oh wait, are those 2 bedrooms or are those 1-bedrooms?
it's just median price for everything.
Got it.
Yeah. And then the last slide, of course, is where we are versus the rest of the country. And yeah, we're staying solid. So that's it.
Yeah, so I'm finding that inventory is the reason for a lack of inventory. People say, Kyle, there are no homes for sale. The existing homes on the market should be bought right up. But the problem with a lack of inventory for buyers is they can't make a decision until they see a number of things and then say, this one is good enough. But if they only have 3 to choose from, they don't want any.
Unless they really have to make a purchase because they're moving here or whatever, but you're exactly right. Yeah.
But then there is this feeling of I'm stuck, kind of, where if I had 50, I'd make a choice and they were all sort of the same, not any better or any worse, but just here's the gamut. I can make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are on Top Agent Network, and I can't tell you how many times there will be an email from an agent who says, send me your off MLS listings or your things that are up and coming, because they've seen everything on the MLS, or they've nixed everything on the MLS.
Right.
Because they can't choose because there's so little to look at.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's very true. And we'll talk about that with seasonality too. News. Okay. I brought you a couple things. Those people who were good and voted saw the advisory vote on the 3% surcharge on incomes exceeding $1 million annually. 60% of voters voted yes. And the point of that is to do a surcharge on income so that could alleviate the pressure on property taxes.
So let's go back to this just for a quick second. The challenge with incomes over $1 million is that somebody with a paycheck that pays them over $1 million. There are a lot of really exceedingly rich Illinoisans who get money, who pay very low income tax because they have different ways of having money, and that's less. So it's really on the lawyers, bankers, CEOs who earn over $1 million.
That's a very good point, because we don't tax on unearned income. So yeah. It's not as clear cut as
it's going to be it's going to be an unfair burden. It's going to be very interesting to see how that is not then passed in the Illinois legislature, because I don't think it passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we need to talk about Dennis's article about the Michigan Avenue condo selling for below its 1989 price. He was referring to the Four Seasons condo. You read the article too.
Yep.
He's basically saying, ooh, all these properties are selling for less than we bought them. You and I have lots to say about it. You want to start?
Well, yes. So we'll come back to this photograph in a second, but these luxury, we built in particular on the near north side, a lot of really luxury buildings.
So this building was built like in the late 80s, I think, as I remember, maybe, or yeah, right around 1990-ish.
80, 88, 90, yeah.
Yeah.
And since then, there have been a ton.
Right. So there were several in this category, right? There was One Meg Mile first, and then there was Olympia. Then there was this one. Water Tower was
before that. Yeah.
But so all of these were built during that time frame.
Yeah.
It was like that best of Michigan Avenue, right? But these aren't the newest buildings today.
Yeah.
So think about it. Let's see, just call it 1990. So what is that? 40 years ago. They're 40-year-old buildings. It's like when I was selling real estate in 1990 and I was selling buildings built in the like 1960, 1970s, like 1325, 1550, 1440, all those. Now we look at those as dinosaurs almost, but these are aging buildings.
But I'm going to say this also. This building, 900 Michigan, has 2 condo associations in it.
Right.
One that is reflected in this picture, and another below it that took over I think it was an accounting firm, maybe it was an advertising agency's space, and has bigger apartments with much more modern interiors because it was developed later. It was also taking over commercial space, which had higher ceilings, bigger windows, and it's doing better.
Yes.
Yeah. This association's units, because this association's units were built designed at a time when ceiling heights weren't hugely high, when windows were not floor to ceiling.
Right.
And as a result, this could be a 1970s building looking at this unit, as you see, has diagonal floors. Nobody likes diagonal floors, people. There is nothing that says this is 2020, 2020, 2010.
Right.
This is 1995.
Well, yeah, we were talking before we went on air. It's very similar to like a suburban neighborhood or a gentrifying neighborhood in the city. Real estate has its ups and downs. An area will get very hot, like the West Loop is hot. It's not going to be hot for 40 more years, people. It's going to be hot for 10, 20 years, and then it's going to like decline. Something else is going to be hot. So,
but also going to this, to your point, because we talked earlier, everybody, you have to do things because there are units in this association that do very well. They were bought at a lower price and they were updated. And when they sell well.
Yeah.
You have to do it because this is a great building in a great location with a ton of amenities, a lot of security, and in a fun part of town. So, but you have to make it
right.
You have to keep it today or as close to today as possible so that it sells.
Absolutely right. Generally speaking, real estate does appreciate in value, but that doesn't mean you can buy any old thing. If you buy a C unit in a C building and you don't put any money into it, trust me, it's not going to be a great investment. But if you buy wisely in an area that's up and coming, and you buy an ugly unit and fix it up, or you buy something new and you sell it before it becomes passé. Fair?
Yes. Well, and there are buildings, for example, let's talk about 9 Walton. 9 Walton was built when was it? It came online in the late teens.
Yeah.
Late 2019, 2018. And it's held its value. It's gone up in value for some.
That building is a mystery. It's a FOMO building, don't you think? People, this hockey star bought in there. Well,
what it's got. So I'm a little bit more of a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a big
Lechinger, who is the guy who developed it and has developed a number of these buildings on the near north side.
Right.
Improves every building he makes. He lives in them and he understands what people want. And 9 Walton is not a great location, but he's made the most of it by making the units exactly what people, the bedrooms all face another building within like 20.
There are no views, right? Yeah.
No views from the bedrooms. But There's great outdoor space. There are great amenities. There's
Right.
wonderful service. Um, and it's not so showy that people, target it. It's just it was done really, really well. And it
True.
benefited from having Ken Griffin buy the top 4 floors. He's now
Right.
out, but it's benefited from that cachet.
Right.
Anyway, that's
No, you're right. You're right.
so one of the other pieces of news we should cover is HOA fees. People are noticing it's November, and everyone who lives in a condo should be receiving from their condo association the draft budgets. We've just received ours,
Right. We
and
did ours.
yep, and for us, HOA fees are going to go up 10%.
And
Um,
that's about right. I mean, that's what I'm hearing everywhere is they're going 8, 9, 10%. And buyers are getting nervous about it, but that's just the way of the world.
so the things that are going into the HOA increases, and these are effectively fixed costs for a lot of HOAs, homeowners associations, are
Right.
people. Almost everyone who works for your homeowners association is a union employee. And union contracts have in them, and you're required to have it. It's not like you can do something on the side with your doorman or whatever. Raises every year.
Right.
So your cost of people is going to go up every year. And that's a collective bargaining. It's not anything that anyone can do. It's across the board. So that's going to go up. Homeowners insurance rates around the country have gone up. These insurers who are paying for Florida and paying for all the damage around the world are taking it out on all of us by raising the rates for homeowners insurance. So Illinois is better than Florida, but at the same time, insurance rates are going up. So those are two big things that are driving increases. Now, my building's also going to be wanting to replenish reserves because we're about to do some big projects. And buildings have to do these projects to maintain their value for the homeowners and to make sure they don't fall down. But so that's what's going on. And it's happening around the country. It's not just us.
Absolutely right. So that gets me to the next thing, which is we've got all kinds of things to share. Okay, this is what's going. Oh, hold on. Let me remove names so you can see the top. This is what's going on with property taxes now. Property taxes that you pay are dependent on, number one, how much money they need to pay the bills. So the budget. So that's like the pie. The assessment will determine how much of the pie you have to pay based on the value of your property. And so every 3 years we get reassessed. North Chicago, they have to file their appeals by November 27th. South, that's you, Kyle.
Our building's already filed.
Yeah. South Chicago, we have to file ours by December 12th. But I just learned about an interesting fact here. And I wanted to share it with you.
Oh, good.
This is the effective tax rate. You know how people will say, how do you compare your property taxes? And you and I will say generally, and attorneys hate us saying it, but we'll say generally Chicago is about 1.5% of your home's value. You'll see new construction be higher. You'll see some properties that, are declining in value be lower, but generally 1.52. But I thought this was fun to compare it to the 5 major cities in the United States. We're lower than New York. We're higher than New York. Higher than New York.
Houston. That's it.
Yeah. Right. However, I think the let's see, indicates the average. Oh, but the average is 1.32 across the nation.
Yeah.
So even though Philadelphia, New York, and Los Angeles are lower, the rest of the country is higher. Now, some of that might be, for years, suburban property taxes were higher than city taxes in Chicago. And I think in many places it still is. Some of these areas where the schools are renowned to be so good, they'll have higher property taxes. But this is what I thought was really interesting. Look at the second column. That's commercial real estate. And you and I don't do a lot in commercial real estate, and so I don't pay too much attention to this, but it's basically 4% on commercial property in Chicago, which is significantly higher than the 1.84 effective tax rate nationally on commercial property.
And our commercial landlords are up in arms about it.
Yeah.
And the current mayor is proposing to increase property taxes on residences and commercial properties to pay for a big budget gap. That is going to be fought by everybody. But that's, it's significant. And I think some of this will, not the commercial, but the residential, can relate to population and the kinds of services the city is providing. I don't know where Philadelphia is getting, because Philadelphia is emptying out as a city. I don't know where it's getting its money if it's not doing it through property tax.
Right. I know. That is very interesting. So the other thing I would say is, and you and I have attended lectures that have talked about this, and that is the doom loop. And the doom loop is, I don't remember where that term comes from, but basically it refers to, since COVID, so many people are working from home, so therefore they're not using the commercial property in the loop. So then you've got
valuable and blah, blah, yeah.
Right. So then people are, companies are downsizing the amount of square footage they need. Properties are vacant. So therefore, there's no money to pay for the commercial property tax on the building. Then it devalues. It's like, so, I mean, it's really something serious that everybody needs to pay attention to. Even when you say, oh, commercial taxes, that doesn't affect me.
No,
in the end, it affects us all.
Yeah, no, that's really a challenge.
Yeah. So we need to pay attention. Well, if we've learned anything, it's important to get out there and vote and be aware of what's going on, right?
I know, and yet we have this huge deficit. I mean, I don't begin to understand how we're going to solve it. But, it's not just Chicago. It's a lot of
But you're exactly right. It's not that we're yeah.
But it's every city. Government's hard, people. Running a government's hard.
It is. Well, right.
Okay.
So, no, and I don't mean to be doom and gloom here, but I'm just raising something that we all need to be aware of. I have to tell you, I'm seeing buyers who are coming to Chicago. So, I mean, it's not like everybody's leaving Chicago. I had buyers out, first time buyer this weekend. I had somebody coming from Omaha that was buying here this weekend. So the city, this is a fabulous city and it's going to remain strong, but we got to be involved.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, that was good. Thank you.
Okay. Quickly, we talked about low inventory. Now we're going to talk about seasonality. And as an intro to seasonality, I want to talk about the only 3 properties that have come on the market brand new since November 1st that are over $2 million. First one, we're going to talk about 1550. And I love how the listing agent, this is one of our least favorite. Sorry, people, we're being real here. One of our least favorite agents.
Just because he's unpleasant.
Unit 302 at 1550 on the Park, a distinctive urban retreat. Are you ready for this? With Palm Springs charm, listed for $2 million. Are you ready? Okay. See through the curtains. There's the Chicago History Museum. We are on the third floor. There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, I would encourage some dumbing down of the walls, but that's just me.
And look at that. Now, can you see yourself on North Avenue there, sitting on your patio?
No.
For $2 million? Okay. Enough said. The next one we're going to look at.
I'm going to say,
yes,
it's a well laid out building. The units inside are really nice.
Yeah.
People who live there love it. But it is, and It's a very convenient location. However, I would not, yes, all those things that you just said. I'm trying to.
You look on the bright side of life. Do-do, do-do,
But that's
do-do-do-do.
also reflected in the price because those units in that building get sold for a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, no question about it. It's just, when you're
Yeah.
on the third floor right there, I don't know. I'm a location
Us
gal.
is
What can I
idling.
say?
Us is idling. Yeah.
We were just talking about the Four Seasons. Now let's talk about One Meg Mile. This is our friend and colleague Judy's new listing. And this is 950 North Michigan Avenue, listed for $3.2 million.
It's a combined unit with some outdoor space, everybody.
Yeah, this is what's so cool. Look at this.
Yeah.
The views, look at that terrace with the lake behind it.
It's-
That's a real rarity.
Yeah.
That I think that's really awesome. And you're up in the sky. Kitchen's been opened up. Look at that.
I mean, look,
That's the office of my dreams, right?
mhm.
With the terrace and the water right there. Okay, and then one more I want to show you before we talk about seasonality. This is 1815 Fremont.
Okay.
No, excuse me, 2118 Fremont.
Okay.
Single family on the market for $3.1 million.
In a great neighborhood.
Oh, it's a great,
So cute.
great address.
Yeah.
So this is one of those historic row homes that they did a total gut rehab on. I don't think this is your money shot, the first picture you show.
Oh, but so pretty. Oh my gosh. Good.
It is glorious. Yeah. And look at that. Just so pretty. Unlike so many others, I mean, this was really taken down, and they'll show you here. I'm going to just flip through it.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it was. They left the facade and they basically rebuilt
They built a new house. They built a new house.
Yeah. But this is an historic area, and I'm really grateful that they kept the facade. That makes me very happy.
Me too.
So,
they may have been inspired to do it too, but well done.
They're beautiful, but they are kind of wonky floor plans. A lot of vintage are. So anyway, so those are the three that have come on the market. I thought you'd get a kick out of seeing those. So let's talk seasonality.
Okay. So you're going to pull up my, look how pretty that is.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I didn't say that to you before we went on air, but kudos to you for finding a lovely holiday photo.
Beautiful AI. And they won't make it the right. Anyway, a long story, but we'll talk about that later. So all I did was that there. So one of the things we talked about earlier was how the market has been pretty slow, even for the listings that are on it. That because there isn't enough choice, a lot of buyers are going, I'll think about it. So great listings have accrued a lot of market time. So we're going to talk about your strategies for your existing listing,
right?
Over the next 3
months.
So
if you want to sell, and today is November 11th, what do you do? And now Kyle's going to tell us what to do.
So option one is to lean in. You've got to sell. You've got to make it happen. So lean into the marketing, lean into everything. So now is not the time to test price. Price it where it's likely to sell so that it does sell. Get it noticed on price, because buyers, and not just their agents, but buyers are really savvy about price. And the people who are looking right now are looking for a bargain. So you've got to really price it correctly. Consider when you're staging it for the 3.9 listings per month, showings per month, make it a special experience for them. Consider acknowledging the holidays. Do some very tasteful but low-key staging. If you can, stay away from the holiday candles, because there are a number of people who are very sensitive to smell. So I wouldn't put them off with some smell, but make it look pretty. Mm-hmm. So I might even take a couple pictures of the holiday staging and add them into the MLS photo feed, because that might attract some people. So I would, just tweak it a little bit because you want to sell it in December.
Well, to your point, Kyle, selling a home, it's telling a story and it's making people feel like they can be very comfortable and happy living in the home. So you don't want to overstyle it, to your point, but also if you can make people feel like they can spend the next holiday in this home, that's a great way to tell the story.
And your agent is going to promote it heavily in social media. So that doesn't always sell the home, but it increases eyeballs on it. So somebody will see it and say to one of their friends who's looking to buy, check this one out.
Yeah.
So that's what your agent will do. And lean into open houses. It's like the people who go into a car dealership just to look and ends up driving out with a new car. Absolutely lean into that and never say, well, it's not convenient. My cleaning lady's going to be there when somebody wants to see it. No, never turn down a showing.
Never turn down a showing. Absolutely.
That's for option one. You have to sell. Option two is I don't have to sell, but I came on the market in the fall and I'd ideally like to move in January or even December if it happens. Price to sell. I mean, if you want to sell in a low inventory market, you really have to price it correctly. Stage it with a wink to the holidays, but I wouldn't add it necessarily to my feed because you might be on the market in January and that sort of looks old. So up to you, but I wouldn't necessarily change the photos.
Right.
And keep up the marketing. What else would you do, Anne?
Well, I just showed a property this weekend where they reduced the price from $349 to $347. I mean, I thought that was ridiculous. What's the point? Don't do a baby reduction. That just looks silly. Look at your property with fresh eyes. Do you need to do a thorough cleaning? Do you need to perk some things up? To your point, Kyle, do the open houses, do the social media, get people in, get eyeballs on it.
But this is more stay the course. You don't have to be as dramatic, but
No.
stay the course, but
Right.
encourage it, okay?
But let me say this. Wouldn't you agree, because we're not in a market where we're getting tons and tons of multiple offers, I'm not concerned if a property's been on the market 60 days. I'm not saying to my buyer, oh, something must be wrong with this because it's been on 60 days. I mean, there was a time like in 2020, 2021, when we said that. We're not saying that now.
Well, and I've actually never said that because there are multiple reasons why a unit might stay on the market for a long time. Sometimes it's unreasonable expectations of the seller.
Right.
But, right now, it is the time. However, the longer you are on the market, the more somebody is going to whatever buyer is going to come with a real lowball offer. Because why not try it out?
Right.
So that's why pricing is always so important, to get it right so that you're not on the market forever.
Right.
Okay, option 3 is reset for 2025. And this is what I'm doing with a number of my clients. Your home hasn't sold in this tough market and you'd like to not have to worry about the holidays. You don't have to sell. You'd love to sell, but you don't have to sell. And what you'd rather do is get ready for 2025. What would you do, Anne? So take a look at these. What are your...
No, you're exactly right. I think that's good. In fact, I have a property that is a charming 2-bedroom vintage in the Gold Coast that she's rehabbed. We're going to go private market for the month of December to make sure that if there's a transferee coming in, that we're out there and available, but we don't want to accrue market time. So we're going to go on the private network. We'll put it up on Top Agent Network, and then we'll hit it big after first of the year.
So what I'm doing for some of mine that have not sold in the fall, we're going on the private network now and going to be on the private network until after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, get your 90 days to reset.
Clear the 90 days.
Yeah.
pricing, look at things, and also look at opportunities to do what you suggested. I had a beautiful unit, and it's meticulously maintained, and somebody rejected it because the vents in the because it's a big building hadn't been cleaned out. The association is supposed to clean out, vacuum out the vents, and in 2025, it just was sort of like, well, I mean, during the pandemic, it got out of the habit of coming through and vacuuming out. So I'm going to encourage both of these two that are going on the private network to use this time to look at things that can make it to take
Sparkle.
any kind of objection out. Just
Yeah.
all of the
Great
objections.
idea. Yeah. Good advice.
So that's
Good
it.
advice.
That's it.
Sounds good. Well, I think we're going to have a good 2025. So, but there's still people out there buying. As I said, I had 2 buyers out there this weekend. Open houses have been busy places. So, yeah.
But there are a number of people who think the market is going to take off in 2025. And in the past week, the stock market has done very well, has celebrated the election. And so I wonder if that means that people are going to feel, or people will start to feel, many people, rich enough to then buy real estate.
That could be. Sure. Sure.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. In any event, it's certainly, a positive outlook. All right. So thank you. It's good to see you. It's been a couple weeks, and I'm glad we were able to put this show together. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have questions, let us know. Please subscribe. And we look forward to helping you with all your real estate needs. Kyle Harvey and Ann Rossley signing off.
Have a great week, everybody.